Okay, my name is Jian, and my topic is security flaws in automotive immobilizer, and we also come from Unicom team, and it's a radio and hardware security research lab in Jihu 360 technology. So he just introduced our team. So we just want to see that we are one of the DEFCON 24 vendors. Yeah. Next, we will introduce my colleague Zheng Yingtao, and he is also a security researcher of our team, and he has rich experience in automobile security and IoT security. So my name is Yuan Jian, and my research is all about wireless sensor network and NFC and so on. So today what we want to share is key fobs. So we will use the key fobs to open the car door or close it. Then we will find some flaws of it, and then we will use these flaws to open a car. First, we want to find what's the frequency it works. Just first we can find the open the key fob, and we can find the crystal oscillator, and we found it printed on it, and we'll find the share of the key fob, and we'll find the FCC ID, and we can search it in the website, and then we will get the more information about it. So if we could not get the information from in this way, so we could find another way. So we have other tools, just like USRP, HackIF, and what I like it's RTL. It's very common, and the price is very cheap, and we use it, and the frequency is from 24 megahertz to 1.7 gigahertz, and we will find this red point. We will scan the frequency and find the red point, so we can get the frequency. Then we set the center frequency to it, and then we will get the signal in detail. So we capture the signal 4 times. And it has when we analyze the wave, we find it's the modulation has the ASK. The modulation is ASK, and first we will introduce the preamble. The preamble is used to tell the car that there is a signal coming. You have to be ready for the signal. Then is the sync header. The sync header is used to synchronize the time. Then is the data about hopping code is 32-bit and serial number, and then is 4-bit function code and 2-bit status code. Then it has a guard time. The guard time should not be too short, because if it's too short, the car could not recognize the one signal.
Actually, the hopping code is the result of the encryption that is employed by in the car immobilizers. We'll explain that later. And the serial number and the 28 bits serial number is unique to the key fob. And the 4-bit function code is used to tell the car what action to perform, like the open the door, close the door, or open the trunk.
So we get this. We know the modulation is ASK, and so we should translate the wave to the bit. So first we know the long one is 0, and the short one is 1, and they send the signal from left to right, and we get the value 0, 1, 0, 1, and 1, 1, 1, 0. So we put we get the MSB and the high SB. So we get the number is 0, 1, 1, 1, and 1, 0, 1, 0. Then we get the value is 7A. So we translate the wave to the bit, and we get the data. So we have connect a series of key fob chips, and as an example, we will introduce SCS 301 as an example. This is the format. This is the format of the chip.
Actually, there is many chips, wireless chips used in the key fob and in the key fobs. These are the specific chips, and this table is actually telling us that the signals transmitted, the format of the signals, like the pre-mentioned the function code, the rolling code, those formats are very similar. So we will take a specific chip as an example to analyze to do the analysis. Okay.
So the next we will introduce the data first. Is the hopping code and the serial number. A serial number is unique to every key hub. Every key hub has its own. Key fob. Key fob. Sorry, key fob has its own. And then is the function code. The function code is to tell the car if to open the door or close the door or other thing. Then is the 2-bit status code. This is used. 1 bit of it is used to tell the driver if the key fob is in low power status, and another bit is used to tell the car if this signal is a repeated one. And then we will introduce the 32-bit hopping code. The 4-bit the data is 32-bit, and it contains 4-bit function code and 2-bit spear code and 10-bit discrimination value, and 16-bit sync counter value. We have found it has two parts. The same function code, the outside one and the inside the hopping code, and which one is the real. So we test many kinds of cars, and we find the outside is useless. The car just uses the inside one. And then is the 2-bit spear code. We read the source code and finally we find out the 2-bit spear code is never used. And then is the 10-bit discrimination value. Is the low 10-bit of 28-bit serial number. So it's used to recognize if the signal is sent by the correct key fob. And then in the 16-bit signal counter value is used to judge if the signal is right. When the key fob sends a signal, it has its own signal control value. The car will compare the signal control value itself and to the key fob. So he will judge it if the value is right. Then, any question? Okay, then they will do the key lock. They use the 64-bit encryption key to and do the key lock algorithm to produce the 32-bit hopping code.
Okay, the key lock. How many have you heard of this? Okay. Only one. Key lock is just as in cryptography algorithm that is commonly used in Immobilizers, and you can just feel that like A is this. Okay, this is like just an in cryptography algorithm, and the function code, like the running code, is a result of using key lock to encrypt. Encrypt the function code and the 10-bit. The 10-bit discrimination value is just the lower part of the serial number, and so there's. I hope that everybody understands the key lock is.
Oh, okay. Then let me introduce shortly about the key lock. Key lock. First, it has two parts. 16 to the low part is the 64-bit is the encryption key, and then the data is 32-bit. First, we get 5-bit of it from bit 1, bit 9, bit 20, bit 26, bit 31, and we do NLF operation, and now we get 1 bit. And now we do the XOR to the bit 0 and bit 16, and bit 0 from the encryption key, and now we get and the encrypted bit. Now we will do this. Now the data will shift, and the bit 64-bit key will circular shift, and we will do this 528 rounds. So finally we will get the encrypted 4-byte data. That's the rolling code. Oh, this is the decryption of the key lock. Is the inverse of the encryption. So it has not a big difference. So just use difference bit. So next we will introduce the first floor of some cars. Chip designer did the right thing, but not all the automobile manufacturers. Some manufacturers did it had some problem, and so if a car has the problem we find, so how we could open a car. Then next, we will first record continuous signal twice, and then that means we will get two continuous sync counter number, and then we will replay it. So that's the result is we could open the car. So.
Okay, we basically have told you that I think this is when a car has a vulnerability we found, we could open the car in this way. And so the next we will introduce why, how a typical car authenticates the key fob, and how what's the vulnerability, where the vulnerability exists.
First, we should read some first, this is the key fob on my right. Then he sends data, and the data contains 32-bit hopping code and the serial number, function code, and the status code. And then we use the keylog to decrypt it, and then we get the data unencrypted. So we have 4-bit function code, 2-bit sphere code, and decryption value and sync counter value. The sync counter value is the most important. If the sync counter value is 7F1, and the EHOP means the sync counter value saved in the car. He has a value. So the hop minus EHOP, we get the etemp. That means the value is negative 15. So it's smaller than 0. So that's return false. That's the chip is rising. So if the value is unsigned, it's same as just I said, but what difference is the unsigned. If the value etemp is unsigned, so it will get the value FF1, not just what I told is negative 15. So they will return to a function. Request resynchronize. So we read this source code. The EHOP is the data is the sync counter value from the key fob, and the EHOP is the sync counter value saved in the car. So hop minus EHOP, we get the etemp. So etemp is smaller than 0. Just say that this is negative 15. So is smaller than 0, so they will go to false. That's the right correct thing. So the next, if they define this value as unsigned value, they will go to this request resync this function.
Does anyone have questions right now? Because this is actually the vulnerability where the vulnerability exists. So if you have a question, you could ask him right now.
Okay.
Do any of the car manufacturers salt the values before they encrypt them so that you can't replay the attacks?
Okay, actually, I think there's a misunderstanding that your confusions come from here. Actually, the value I was explained from the top to from top down. The 32 bits hoping code is the result of using key-lock encryption algorithm to encrypt the content. The content, the 4-bit function code, 2-bit spill code, the content. Understand? So actually, there is a 4-bit function called in plain text, sent in plain text, and there is a encrypted version 4-bit function code. Actually, we have done some experiments. We found out that the car will ignore the 4-bit function code that's not encrypted. They will only respond to the function code that is encrypted. But your question is how? Actually, we were talking about how the car handled the decrypted result of the, which is this part, the unencrypted contents. So the car has the key, so it can decrypt the content. So we are talking about that, but we are talking about the decrypted version of this content. Does that make sense? And so the vulnerability. Okay, and let me tell you how they use this sync counter. Sync counter is actually when you press the key fob, the key fob will send out the 32 bits hoping code, which is the encrypted version of the content, and plus this part. When the sync counter, when the car received this signal, they will check, they compare the sync counter that's stored in the car. The car also stores a sync counter, synchronization counter. Okay, when the synchronization counter stored in the car is larger than the synchronization counter received. Okay, when it's larger, the car won't respond. When the sync counter is larger than the stored one in the car, there's a range. If it's larger by 1 to 16, in this range, the car would instantly respond to the function code, open the door or close the door. Okay, if it's larger more than 16, the car would enter a state called resynchronization. Okay, so the car would store the currently received sync counter and both the currently received sync counter and the old counter that is stored. Okay, and it will enter the resynchronization state in which the car will wait until he receives the second signal, and if the second signal contains a continuous synchronized sync counter value, which is larger than the formerly received sync counter by 1. The car would respond to the function code and change the old one, the one stored in the car, to the last received sync counter. Does that make sense?
So would that in turn invalidate another key fob?
No. If the user presses the button and the car don't respond, he usually goes on to press that again. So that would resynchronize the sync counter, because when you put the key fob in your pocket, you may unintentionally press that multiple times, and it goes off the 16 range. Okay. We are.
The vehicle has already received once.
It's not the real replay. If he has this floor,
We are going to introduce the flow yet.
we will introduce the floor next.
The procedure I just explained is a normal procedure of that how a car authenticates the key fob. So
Yeah.
he is going to introduce the flow where the flow is.
You know, this is a normal procedure. So And if they defined this as a unsigned value, so this is abnormal, is abnormal. So when we send the smaller thing control value, they should go to the false and no response. Then if they defined, if the manufacturer defined the e-temp as an unsigned value, so they will go to the recognize. So if they go to the recognize, they will set the F2 chance to true and they will wait for the next hop. The next hop is the hop plus 1. So when they get the next signal, the signal the value is 1 bit is bigger than not 大于
哪个？ Okay, if I think I have just explained that if the car, when the car enters the resynchronization procedure, it will wait on another signal, right? So if another signal's sync quantum value is greater than the previously received sync quantum value by 1, so it will resynchronize.
Yeah. Then the next signal. The program will go to hop CHK and the F2 chance is true and next hop equals hop. Then the result is they will return true. So the car will respond to the signal. So if the signal is to open the car, so they will respond to the second one. So this is the second one. So if the second hop is 7F2, so they will go to the F2. The F2 chance is true, and the next hop is the bigger, larger one. And then just I say the previous hop is 7F1. So we changed the sync control value. The sync control value should be bigger than the previous. But if the car has this flaw, we use two continuous signals to make it smaller than the previous. So this is our guess. So from the first picture we know is the code written by the chip designer. He designed the word as an unsigned int. So when they compare two number, and we get the negative one, and the next next picture is we guess some mobile manufacturers define the word as unsigned. So we use two continuous signal to open a car.
Does anybody has questions until now regarding the previously contents? Actually, I think I have already explained the normal procedure where when the car authenticated the key fob, the problem is here. Okay, so not here. The problem is the minus operation in the code. Okay, you see the e-temp and the hop at the e-hop. The eTemp is a value that you get from by using the received sync counter to subtract to minus by the stored value. If the eTemp is defined as a signed integer, it will get both get value both larger or it will you will get the negative value and the positive value. Does that make sense? Okay. So, but if it is designed as an unsigned integer, so the minus operation would always produce a value that larger or equal than 0, equal to 0. Okay. So when it continue to go on to like if the eTemp is lesser than 0, this when they compare that, this won't be true. Won't be true. So they will speak the if operation and goes directly to the else section of the code. So if we could use like two continuous signal which contains. Up till now, we are not able to decrypt the encrypted contents, but we recorded two continuous signals, so that the sync counter value would be continuous. Like, okay, so when we replay that, the car will always go into the resynchronization procedure. So every time I replay these two signals, the car would return to the same, would resynchronize to the same. Resynchronizing the counter value. Okay, so that's why we can use the signal to open the door continuously. Okay.
Next, if we have more time, we will show you how to open the Immobilizer.
We will do a demo.
So this is a video. We how to use this inflow to open a door.
Is this the audio?
没有，这个没有声音。
Okay.
没有声音。So another way to open a car. So they have three.
Okay, we are about to start the second vulnerability to explain the second vulnerability. Does anybody has question regarding the previous vulnerability? The mistype define. Okay.
Now, it's about the simple the encryption. They have three ways to get the encryption key. Now, if we use the keylock, the encryption key is very important. So, how they get the encryption key? They have three ways. The simple encryption is the most simple. They use the manufacturer's code just as the encryption key. So it's very directly. And if a car lost a manufacturer's code, so they will have influence a bunch of cars.
Okay, the previous vulnerability exists in the code that authenticates in the key fob, but this vulnerability exists in the key. It's more like a key management flaw in the car industry.
So the next standard encryption. So they use the serial number to get the encryption key. First, they use 6 and serial number and kilo algorithm and the manufacturer's code to decrypt, and they get the 32-bit MSB. And then the same way they get the low LSB, and now they get the encryption key. Is the same problem as the simple encryption key. If he lost the manufacturer code, what we did not know is the serial number. So we could just listen to the just capture the signal once. We will find the signal. We'll find the serial number. And now we can get the encryption key. Or we did not did not capture any signal, so we could try the serial number one by one, and finally we will open the car. So the next, I think, is the most secure way, the secure encryption. The difference is it has a seed. The seed is unique to every key fob, and it's random. So if we get one key fob the seed, we could not use to open other cars. So the MSB is the encryption is the same way, and the next seed they use the seed to decrypt the. To get the low LSB of the encryption key. So if we find we get the manufacturer's code, and if we capture the serial number, but we did not know the seed, so we could not open the car.
Okay. Supposing you have lost your key fob, and you have the manufacturer, and you, as usual, all forgot the random seed, right? That's your question. Okay. The car manufacturer has their equipment to connect to the car and update the new seed. Okay, understand? Okay. Actually, we are talking about the initialization of the encryption key. How the car manufacturer initializes the encryption key for the key fob, for their key fobs. There are three methods. One is the simple version, and the standard, and the secure encryption. Because the secure encryption got a seed, so even if you extract the seed from one vehicle, you cannot use that to open other vehicle.
Okay.
I think that is the car manufacturer may have their specialized equipment. Then that's I think is a question. You mean how the car manufacturer updates the seed, right?
Well, yeah, like what kind of off-the-shelf tools or some of the tools that we have here at that
Okay, I don't know that actually, because the car manufacturer, even if you can make that, you have that tool, you could you program the keys or replace a key fob yourself, but the car manufacturer won't let you do that. So they may have that's my assumption. Okay, they may have employed hardware security authentication between the ECU that is in charge of stores the seed and the equipment. Okay, so that's another field of study. I think we are talking about problems here. Okay.
So we know the encryption key is a problem. So how we get the encryption key, how we get the manufacturer's code. We know the manufacturers was saved into part. One is the one is in key fob. It has the encryption key and has the manufacturer code, and then is the car has the and then is the car has the manufacturer's code. But if we want to decode the chip in the key fob, I think it's too hard. Then we find out they may find a way to decode the car, decode the chip in the car. They send the chip to some microcontroller decode company.
Actually, we are talking about how to get the. You remember in the the standard key generating method. Sorry. We have like 3 ways to generate the encryption key, right? The first one is like, using the simple encryption where the encryption key is just the manufacturer's code. This code is, is the same over as other vehicles manufactured by the car manufacturers, right? And there is a standard encryption. In the standard encryption, you have to, if you have the serial number, and you can generate the encryption key yourself, and then use that encryption key to decode the hoping code. So we are now going to talk about how to get the manufacturer code under the serial number. Okay, so the manufacturer code often you can get this way. You can unshoulder the flash chip from in the vehicle containing the vehicle's ECU, and we read dump those content, and you'll find the manufacturer code from in the flash chip. And once you find the manufacturer code, you could use like the same method to generate the encryption key and use the encryption key to decrypt the rolling code. After you decrypt the rolling code, you can do whatever you want. So without further explanation, I think everybody can understand the consequences.
Then if then is how to use the manufacturer's code. If we know the serial number, how to get the serial number, we could just listen to capture the signal once. Once we just talk about the format of the data.
Remember in the previous group that the graph that the sync counter is sent in plain text, right? Does everybody remember that? Okay. In plain text.
Oh, we will see this. Here is planet. So we will just listen it once. We will get the serial number.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we get the serial number, and what we don't know is the sync control value. If the car is the normal one, it has a signed value. So we will send first. We have sent the signal 4 times. The first is the sync value 0001, and we get the eTemp is smaller than 0, so they will return false. Then the next one is 0002, so they will return the false 2. It's in the invaded region. So the next we try another number in the different region. If they have two regions, one region, one part, one half is the inward, and the next could be used to synchronize or is just the right signal. So we try the next part. Next part we try the 8001. Now they will go to resynchronize. They will go to resynchronize, and then we will send the next number, the next sync control value. So it's 8002. They will return true. So if this if we send the function code is open the door, so we could use this to open a car. So you understand?
Great.
Oh, okay. So next, if we don't know the serial number, how to we open a car? So we could try the every serial number. Now we send this 4 times and we could try one signal number, and then we try another. Yeah. But the serial number is very long. So we could not try it all one by one. We must wait a long time. So we had other method to reduce the time. If we know the car, what kind of this car, and what time the car produced, we know the range of the serial number. So that's we reduce the time. Yeah, you understand? So this is the unsigned one. Unsigned one, we just it has no inward region. They are all blue. So we need to just try serial number 1 time. And so the serial first, if we listen to the capture the signal 1 time, and now we get we try this 2 times. First we get it 0001, and they go to they go to resynchronize status, and then we send the next. They will open the door. So the same way we use to try the serial number. If we don't know the serial number, we will try it one by one, and then know the age, know what kind of the car to reduce the time. Yeah. This is the video. We try the serial number. Not very well. Just this light is well be bright. It's shining. Well, it's not very obvious. Sorry, it's very obvious. So, if we have time, we had do a demo.
But first, I would like to ask anyone has questions? Okay. I think that actually I would like to do an abstract of the talk. Okay. The first one vulnerability exists in the implementation of the authentication protocol, the type define, the unsigned integer and the signed integer. Okay, that's the first vulnerability. The second vulnerability is the key management. Actually, the car manufacturer employed the weak key generation method, in which you use serial number and the manufacturer code. That's the second vulnerability. And we actually extract many manufacturer code and serial number from like the locksmiths, the torn locksmith dealt. So like the way we can now with the second vulnerability we can actually decrypt the hoping code, so we can change what to the contents contained in it. So actually, he was talking about that when you can decrypt that, you can change the synchronization counter to whatever you want. Well, and so actually, we can also disable the owner's key fob by by changing the synchronization value. So the owner actually literally have to press like almost 30,000 because it's like 16 bits variable. So the user have to like press more than like 30,000 times in order to regain control. So we literally disable their key fob. So any question? Okay. Demo. This we are going to demo on an aftermarket Immobilizer because we found the manufacturer code, so we could find the encryption key. So yeah. We are using this device to transmit the rolling code, the signal. And here is the Immobilizer. Okay. There is a like. This is the original key fob.
This is the original key fob. So we have this serial receive the rolling code, the serial number, and then it's the decrypted one, and that means if the car is open for a long time, it will close itself. So the next is the sync control value. So we press to unlock it. Yeah. So the sync control value add 1.
You can see the sync control value is increasing.
It's increasing. Yeah, we will show this is the first floor. We will try the sync control value smaller than the sync control value saved in the car. This is in Immobilizer.
We are not explaining the first floor because this Immobilizer doesn't have the first floor. So we are explaining that you can see there is a decrypted rolling code here. So we already got an encryption key. We are doing a demo of the second vulnerability, the key management.
And then we will try the.
Because the first vulnerability we cannot decrypt the rolling code.
First, we will get this part. Copy. Then is the serial number. Oh. I just write it. 982。Yeah. We try this counter value. It's no response.
So the synchronization counter is different than is much larger, like by the 16, larger than that. So the car won't the immobilizer won't respond. So after we send the second signal with a continuous sync counter, it will respond.
So we will try the next sync counter value. Yo. Sorry. This is not the same. Maybe something not right. Close it. We press it. Okay.
As my colleague is preparing the demo, I could explain the hardware we use. Although it's ugly, but it's functional. Yeah, they have this transmitter. Remember that the signal is like ASK, amplitude shift gain. So this one is just like accepting the digital signal from this microcontroller, and like there's an oscillator that produces the carrier, and then we use this digital signal from the microcontroller to come to the amplitude shift gain. So with the right timing, and you can reproduce the radio signal sent by the car keyboard. This one is for transmitting. This one, you can see there's the antenna here. This is to receive. Okay. So, and you could do this without this hardware. You could like do using a hack RF, the software defined radio platform, and use USRP. Those are also used to do this. That's the receiver. At least the receiver works. Yeah. Oh, this is the transmitter, right? It's not responding. Okay. Oh, this is because we opened the door for just the manufacturer, the Immobilizer, close the door itself because it's machine on level. Actually, this kind of Immobilizer is used in the local cars between the luxury cars that are using like keyless entry. And I can every time I know that the keyless entry system is like just to facilitate the cable by using a low frequency 125 kilohertz signal.
Sorry，
Just a minute. Okay.
这个好像我的跟弄坏了吧？
But you can see that with this one, the stations are already discovered by the sun. Okay. So the old stuff whereby the attacker block the first signal transmitted by the cable, and actually it blocked the first one. Prevents the car from receiving the first one. And then the user goes on to press the signal and he recorded that signal as well. And then he replay the first one. So the SIM counter will change back to the second signal still using it. It's different than that because when the user presses the cable again, the signal, the second signal is recorded will be invalidated. So it's different, and that relationship only use that signal once. And with this one, you use it like forever. Because every time you use the signals, the same time will be synchronized with it. Synchronized can be the signal. And with the key management, one thing is actually encrypted the signal so we can change the SIM counter whatever we want, and we can also control the function code because in the previous vulnerability the function code, because we cannot decrypt it and we can only use the function code compared to the encrypted roaming code, so we cannot change the function code. If the code is we call it is open the code, we can only open the code, we cannot close. And with the second one, we can close the code and control other functions.
Are you picking sequence numbers in the lockout range?
Because we are going to send two signals, so no matter what what happens greater than long enough greater than the small signal. When it's smaller,
Yeah. You're going only
is
slightly
it
smaller.
doing that? Okay. But 这个按钮。然后你把下面那个它后面自动帮你来Okay. So we'll have to decrypt this and then we'll have to this is the decrypted rolling code. 这种答案。不是看到也好，是看到也好，这种答案。Okay, it works. Family.
That's what I was saying.
Okay. Thank you for waiting for the demo. So, any question? Great. Thank you, everybody.